So, hello and welcome to a new tutorial here on Virtual Music Tutorials. I know it's been a long time since the last one, but well, as I already posted on the Facebook page, there are a lot of things I had to do, unfortunately, but now I have some time again, and here is now for you the new tutorial, this time about tremolo, how to make it sound realistic. And actually, it's not that complicated to create something that sounds realistic using East-West Quantum Leap Symphonic Orchestra. Yeah, so what are we going to do today? As you may see here, well, there's a little bit annoying coming here all the time. So this time we will create a little bit using some violas and violins. And this time I created also a little backing track because creating something only using tremolo can be a little bit boring sometimes. So I decided to make a little backing track this time. And of course, this time you will also get the link to the MIDI files, something I talked about so much, but didn't even wrote you something. So this time you'll get the MIDI files finally, and also the backing track. You can load in or use another backing track, whatever. Do what you want. So this time we will just get started now. And so let's listen now first of all to the raw data. So it starts with the backing track, a little bit playing along, and then comes the tremolo. And then I'll talk a little bit about little elements that are there, and then we will get started doing the magic thing. So let's first of all listen to what we're going to create today. Yeah, so as you see, this is really just the raw file. There are a lot of things we have to do. First of all, what you may notice is, of course, that there are not very much dynamics in the tremolo lines. They're very static, very even, and that's not really very nice. Even though these things we see here with the violas, there are some things that are supposed to fade in. So there we'll work, of course, a lot with automation again. And so now let's get started, as always, with our 3 steps. Offset the notes, then use velocity, and last but not least, the automation stuff. So we will then mark all of Viola's tracks here, and open up our piano roll, and then we will start to offset the notes a little bit. So just take it and move it a little bit to the right, just like so, not much more, just a little bit, and then we'll move on. Where's the next one? Zoom out a little bit. Alright, so here it is, another one. So this time we will offset this one just a little bit, like so. Some of you may wonder now, if they see this first time and are not used to the concept here on Virtual Music Tutorials, may think, why is this guy doing all these things manually? There are automation stuff inside Cubase and many other sequencers. Well, to those of you who are asking this, I can say yes, you are right. There are automation some automation possibilities, but this tutorial series is designed to be cross-platform so that anyone, no matter what sequencer he or she uses, can hopefully use the techniques I show you here. So that's why are we doing all the offset stuff manually. But actually it doesn't matter, because then you have also a little bit much more control about how the things are offsetted. Yeah, but of course, if you have automation functions in your sequencer, then of course you can use them. Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the offsetting things. Again, what we are actually doing, or what we can do with offsetting, it's basically just shifting the notes around a little bit, making them start a little bit earlier or later, and also adjust the lengths of them just a little bit. It always has the background of creating all the little imperfections that occur when human players are playing music. And this offsetting here is one of the little things that you can do to make your whole performance sound realistic, as if a real orchestra is playing it. And that is always what we here intend to do. And I hope that with this tutorial series I can show you some ways on how to succeed in this task. So right now, as you may see, I just shifted the note a little bit around, or changed some note lengths, and I think this is the violas part. Yes. So let's see if we adjusted these ones here. What are these? Oh yeah, I know where they are. We can ignore them. It's just some of a part that is. See this here? It's just cut it off. Yes. So let's go to the 11 violins and do the same thing here as well, offsetting the note lengths a little bit. And every time, what I have to say with offsetting, just don't overdo it. You may see it in the first tutorials that were there, which are actually just these two, that I overdid it very often, very quickly. Oh yeah, something you have to take care of sometimes is, as you may see here, when the parts are a little bit too long, that we adjust them accordingly so that every note is played when we shift them, so that they have not equal lengths. Sometimes then it happens that we just put them too much out of the part, and then it can happen that the note isn't played anymore. Okay, so well, actually we don't have to do it with all of the notes, like so, like so. Well, this offsetting task can be boring sometimes, and actually it is boring very much. But there we have it. Oh, let's see this high note. Did we? Yeah, we offsetted it as well. Yeah, and about here we are already in the last one, the 18 violins part. And just now it's tiny, very subtle differences we're creating here, and we will listen to the song now, and well, actually it can happen that we won't hear much of a difference, but the difference is there. And often, as you may know, it's the subtle little things that make things perfect, or stand out. So let's listen and see if we can find or hear already a difference. I hope so. Well, actually, if you hear close enough, there are some points, or let's say parts, inside this little music piece where you can hear the difference a little bit, where it's not every note is coming at the exact same time. So this already helped us a little bit. So now we came to one of the interesting parts, and that is the velocity. So most of the patches in in Symphonic Orchestra, like so. Most of the patches also use velocity, and with most of the patches you can use velocity for certain things. Often it's used for the dynamics. Well, we will use later on, of course, some of the crossfade patches using the mod wheel, and there was also a question on the YouTube, one of the YouTube comments, where someone asked me why I don't use any of these mod XFD patches. Well, it's also because I want just start this whole thing here very low, not that complicated, and later on we will progress further and further, and then we will get really deep into much more advanced techniques, and there I will also show you these mod XFD patches. But I thought we will just start with the ones with normal ones. Yes, so that's why I don't use any of the mod wheel crossfade patches right now. Okay, but now let's go into the velocity, and there we also come into the very important part I always mention. When you compose, you always have to, or you should, on the one hand, try to imagine being the player who is playing this musical or this music passage, and also, of course, on the other hand, think about the line itself, about its character, and imagine being the player and deciding of the character of this line belongs together very much, because it may sound a little bit strange to you to think being a string player, for example, but it helps you a little bit when you just imagine sitting there inside the orchestra with your violin, and then think about how would you play this line, and on the other end, as a composer, also think about the character of your melody line. What is this? Let's go away there. I don't want to see you. Oh, that's gone. Actually, the soul. Bring the music line some soul, its emotion, its character. And one thing we'll use, of course, very often is velocity, because velocity gives us the control over the overall dynamics. So with velocity, we very often decide or give the note its dynamic, even if it is forte or piano or mezzo forte and all these things. So now when we take a look at the violas, we know now, because I said it at the beginning of this video, that this passages here, or let's say most of the passages here, are going to fade in. So they give some kind of accents to the, I hope that I pronounce it correctly, accents. If not, I apologize. Because English isn't my mother tongue, but I try to do my best. So if there are some fatal or grammatic errors, sometimes just try to not notice them and just go on. Okay, so so because they are going to fade in, we won't deal with them now, but start with the 18 violins and 11 violins. So we will mute it, and this line here is designed to be not that complicated. It's very straightforward, but goes a little bit down at this point, a little bit lower, and then rises up here again. So we will take the velocity, like so, do the same thing here. Maybe here a little bit louder. Maybe here I decide to let it fade in later on, so I here I define the volume that this note will get right here at the end when it's faded in, or well, not faded in, but there is little fade from this volume to this, using automation later on. Yeah, and here we will it's the end, so we let the end stick out a little bit. Yeah, so we then go to the 18 violins. Do the same thing here as well. Yeah, and now let's listen to the whole thing with the velocity changes and see if it comes or if it sounds like we want it. And we will leave the violas muted because, yeah, there are these fade-in things and give the accent. So we first of all try to make the overall line with the violins right, and then we will add the violas later on. So now let's lean back and listen to what we did right now. Okay, so I found that this end note here comes way too loud, so I made it a little bit lower. And yeah, maybe let's make at the start make a little bit more noticeable, like so, the little changes. So now that's what we have right now, and now let's see how the violas blend in, and yeah, see how we will get this thing to work in there as well. So I won't start right from the beginning, I won't start right here, so we don't have the whole intro again and again. Okay. Okay, so we will let this as accents here follow just the line of the other ones. So we will a little bit down here. Let's listen. Well, we also have to adjust the velocity here because it's very low here, so we hear it not that strong. So we adjust it here right now, and sometimes or generally don't fear to put the velocity sometimes really high at the top, like here, because as you already know it when mixing, the same thing applies also to these things here. Hearing the parts for themselves, they may sound good, but then hearing it in the whole thing, then you may not even notice them. So sometimes just take the velocity and crank it up as high as you can and see that it sounds good in the whole part. Yes, what I don't like that much is this part here. It's too, I don't know, the violas here just seem to stab into the whole thing, and yeah, maybe, I don't know if it's the violas the problem, but there's something I don't really like. It's too just, yeah, bam, stabs in there. So we will go into the editor again, adjust the things, close it, and listen again. And yeah, what you see here is really often, yeah, the process of creating virtual music. It's very often hear parts again and again, changing some things here and here and there, listen again, change the things as well. Not as well, what I'm saying. Change the things again, and then it may sound worse than before, and then you go again and again, and yes, that's actually how it works. But I also want to show you this process, how I'm doing it, so that when you are composing your own things, you see how I'm doing it, you get a general idea of how one can do it, and then hopefully you'll find your own way of dealing with the problems. I want to just give you a guideline, a point where you can get started from. So now let's listen to this thing here again. Yeah, that's better, because now it's not a little bit louder, not stepping in like that much. It's more organic, more fluently. I like it more. But of course, it's also a matter of taste every time, and at the end it counts what, you like. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. One thing I shouldn't forget and should mention right now. It's some little thing, phenomenons, like these ones here, where you have two notes over each other, and these are also things, you also have a little principle you can apply to notes that are played at the same time with velocity. They every time they don't have the same amount of velocity, so you really should adjust them a little bit, like so, for example. You can easily find this also. Well, I will adjust them here now. Here as well. Like here, the second one a little bit louder. Just, offset them. Sometimes also use huge gaps like this. You will see these huge gaps in the new video then about staccato. There we will do these things a lot. And you will see that it is, that you should do it. Okay, what I wanted to say concerning such phenomenons like more than one note played at the same time. You can easily see this with the velocity differences when you have a MIDI keyboard, and you can, if you want to, record a little bit and play some chords, and then later on, after you recorded them, let's say 4 bars, and just play a few chords, then go into the MIDI editor and take a look at how the chords look like, how you played them, and you will see the two things. First of all, they are offsetted a little bit. Not every note is played at the exact same time, and you will also see the velocity will differ very much, and that's human nature. So that's why we're offsetting the things here as well. Yes. So, yeah, one thing we can do, of course, is, save the file right now. Always a thing I like to forget, and many people like to forget this. Often save your file. I can really just recommend you this. If you're working in a whole orchestra piece, you did a lot of automation, a lot of velocity changes, and you're very content with what you have, and then your machine just crashes and everything is gone. You did. And very often it's work of hours. So, save your files. Good. Yes. So we did the offsetting, we did the velocity. So what comes now is the automation. Okay, so now the automation stuff. Yeah, so actually let's also start with violins, and we will bring in the violas later on. So we mute the violas and start with the 11 violins, and we will also mute the 18 violins to just hear the 11 violins once. Yeah, so I assigned in the quick controls the CC11 for expression. So we have, very often we have mainly our two main controls, which are CC1 for the mod wheel and CC11 for expression. If you don't know how to assign the control, how to automate these control changes inside your sequencer, if you're using Cubase like I'm doing, then I have a tutorial video for you where I show you how to set this up. There's also a video where you can see how it's done in Fruity Loops. And for the other sequencers, unfortunately I don't have any video because I don't own these ones, but it's very often described in the manual or search around on the internet. You will find how it's done, believe me. Okay, but now let's get into the automation stuff. So yeah, I will activate, no, don't this one. We'll activate it, start right here, and now let's try to shape this whole thing. We will enable automation, and just make a session, see how it sounds like, and if it's bad then we just delete it. Very often I had the idea in mind how this line should sound like using the velocity, and then I'll just go in and make the first recording session with the automation stuff, and just see how it turns out. So we'll do this right now as well. Don't start that early, let's start right from the beginning, get into the track, get the feeling, and then just start automation. So let's get started. Well, not this. Shouldn't record like this. Just don't press record. So let's get started now. Well, the last note I didn't really got very nice, so this doesn't matter. Just go in like so. I think that's quite good like this. So let's listen to this change. What it sounds like now. Yeah, as you may see, and I think really at this part here you can see how important automation can be sometimes, because with automation you create the transitions between these low notes and high notes to make it sound nice. Because without automation you will hear the transition here between this low and this loud note. That's how it sounds like without automation. Now we turn the automation on. And you see the transition here is much more noticeable and much more stronger. Turn it off once again. Ooh, it's very loud, it just stabs in, and we will turn the automation on. Here it fades in and just gives a little crescendo to the end. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the 18 violins. Here now you can, because they're playing the same thing, or I think in octaves, you can then decide how you want it. In this case, when I have instruments which are playing the same part together, same melody, then I start with one instrument, muting the others, and then coming with all the others, putting one after another on top, so that at the end excuse me, that at the end I have all the instruments playing, and then I go in again and mute some and solo some to control or check the automation if the things sound right. But you can also, if you like to, now mute the 11 violins and only alter the 18 violins. It's up to you. So let's go in here, enable automation, start a few bars before, like so, and let's do the recording. Yeah, and here you can see this doesn't sound very nice. Because here at the end it should fade out a little bit. Here we have somewhere this loud note again, where we will then create a transition like this one here. So let's search for it. Well, it's actually quite okay. So we will maybe alter these ones here again so it's not that low. Listen again. Well, here what we are going to do here is create a little fade in, so it's not that static here. Really let this thing fade in, get crescendo here, and then just drop down. You can do the same thing here as well. Give it a little crescendo here at the end, just like so. Down some, so like so. And here again. Well, I liked it more without this. So let's undo the things here. Yes, alright. Like so. Okay. Yeah, so now that we got this thing, we will bring in the violas. And here we will now create the fade-ins. Excuse me, what is happening to my throat this day? I don't know. And I don't even smoke, so I don't know what happens this day to my voice. Well, doesn't matter. We will start with automation right now here and see how it turns out. And there you can see that there is something happening. Now they start to live because of these fade-ins, because that's what I intended with them. Now of course we have to adjust the things a little bit because sometimes it's a little bit too low. So now that we get the crescendos, very nice way. Come on, what's this? So let's listen. Yes, actually I have to say I like it. For the purpose of this tutorial, it's okay. Well, we could now go in and start altering the things here again and again until it's perfect. But this is a tutorial. I want to show you the principle, and you already see something. And namely, what I would do now is just once more go in and adjust some things, the timing a little bit. Sometimes the crescendo is a little bit too fast or not too noticeable. So these are the things I would do now when using such tremolo crescendos to see if the timing is right, and if it is, or if it brings to the composition what I intend. Okay, so now last time let's listen to the whole thing again. Let's close this automation tracks here and listen to the whole thing last time, and then we're done this time. And that's it for this tutorial. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, if you have any feedback and critique, you can either write it into the comment section of this video, write it on the Facebook page, or write me an email at vmtutorials@live.de. And of course, if you're new to virtual music tutorials, subscribe to the channel and like the Facebook page. Did I forget anything? Yes. Have a nice day and have fun composing, and hopefully we see us again in the new video. Goodbye until then.